Hi everyone and welcome to tonight's stream. So a few days ago I went off sketching. I went for a coffee and sketch day and I walked a long way and I stopped off in coffee shops and did some sketching. I also did some filming and, well, relaxed. So I want to show you a few of the sketches and then show you kind of how I would take it as the next step. So this is my little bookie that I took. It's just a cheap Winsor Newton sketchbook. I picked it up in an art shop on offer. Actually, I picked up a ton of them, all different sizes. This one just fits nicely in my bag and the paper quality is quite nice. So my sketches were, I'll probably bring this up. Sketches really basic. So nothing special, just grabbing instances, motion, no what I would call major detail stuck in there. So half a book filled, and it literally was just as people moved around me, grab a pencil and sketch what I saw in a few seconds or a minute or so. So thing is, I've got home, and if any of you guys do this, you'll think to yourself, I've got these tiny sketches but they look rubbish, what can I do with them? It's a waste of a sketchbook. But thinky. It's not a waste of a sketchbook because you're doing an exercise which is helping you improve your attention to detail, your speed, and your skill at drawing the item that you're drawing. So don't look at it as a negative. This is part of your learning process. So for me, I will bring these sketches home and I'll look at my reference photos if I've got any. I don't always get reference photos, which gives me rain to play around with. And then I'll take a bigger sheet of paper, in this case some cheap card, and I'll create something completely different out of these. So I'll do a coloured image, but in a more stylised version. So that's what I'm going to show you doing here. No tracing involved, it's just pure artwork. So let's see, now there was one lady who caught my attention in one of the cafes. This lady. Right, I know that is not exactly the best looking sketch, but this lady, I think she was slightly disabled. She was elderly, she had a walker, and she was wearing sunglasses on a cloudy day, so possible cataracts. So you can get a story out of people sometimes just by watching. So if you go to a coffee place and you're discreetly sketching, see if you can find a story behind the person. It's great fun to do. And she was very loud. I mean, seriously, yell. Ooh, my ears hurt and I was on the other side of the room. But she was quite an interesting subject matter to do. So let's see. So she was a large lady. Really large. So how can I make that into something nice? Right. So the mediums that I've got today are somewhere around here. A Faber-Castell pencil. I'm going to use a blue one. I'm using a blue one because there was blue in her clothes. So if you were doing a drawing of somebody with red in their clothes, you could use a red pencil, beige pencil. It's just finding something that follows the colour through. I've got Scully, my trusty 0.5 pencil. And all around this desk, all over the floor, everywhere, are Spectrum Noir marker pens. Now, you guys probably know I'm still struggling to love them, but I've got to use them. And then once they're used, I don't know if I'm getting refills. I love my Copics too much. But I'm going to try these, Gotta still use them, can't just have them sat around doing nothing. So I'm just going to pull up a reference photo on my computer. So she's thinking, where did you leave it? Now that lady. Right, actually I've pulled up my video. It's one called Speed Sketching and Walkabout, where this lady is actually featured in there. So I'm going to make her look a little bit more human. So I'm going to move the camera slightly. Sorry about the lighting, I'm still struggling around here with lighting. Hopefully that's a bit better. Right, so I've got my cardstock. This stuff is really, really cheap. It's shiny on one side and matte on the other. I just grabbed whatever was nearest to me. Pencil sharpener, and need a sharpened pencil. With Faber-Castells, you do need a sharpened pencil. Sharper it is, the better it works. The nicer lines you can get. And considering I have about 20 sharpeners to keep them fresh. So, how do I make this lady look interesting? She was sat down a lot of time, but when she got up, there was quite an interesting view. But then that would be a bit weird. So, I'm actually going to do a really light hand. So my hand is up higher on the pencil. And I'm just going to map in her proportions. Or something like, this isn't going to be 100% what she looked like. It's going to be a stylized version of her. You know when you draw models, they're always slim, aren't they? What I did learn about this lady was she was quite stroppy. Where they parked, I think she was with her husband, she had a walker and she parked it on the tables next to her. And somebody wanted to go and sit there, which is understandable, you know. I mean, the cafe I was in was not exactly the best. Putting it politely. Tables were covered with muck, you know, shoddy. So somebody went to sit down at the table in front of her, and she got really annoyed, and her husband got up and came round and was like, oh no, you can't sit there, she's got to get access to this. And I was like, well, they're still drinking their coffee, mate, you don't have to move these people off. So yeah, she did create quite a lot. It was like a all about me kind of thing. Everyone pay attention to me. It's all about me. I think she probably worked out that I was sketching her at points, because she kept on glaring at me. And I thought, well, it's a public place. But yeah, if you're going to draw in public, don't try and make it too obvious. Sometimes the err on the side of discretion never hurts. You don't know how people are going to take it. Some people really do get squiffy, and others don't. So, I know that collar was pink. I remember that. So when you're drawing slimline models, you can extend the anatomy. When you're drawing chunkier people, it's harder to extend that anatomy. What was that seam allowance? There. One of those big rucksack, not exactly rucksack, but like it was a really big bag on a very, very thin, long handle. I'm not being cruel here, I am just literally trying to map in abdomen area for this lady was very large. Stripes are an awkward thing. I'm going to change the leg position. Okay, so that's my really gentle outline of the figure. I'm not happy with it, but it's because I'm not used to drawing these shapes. So, colour wise, I want to keep my colours very light. I haven't swatched out my colours either, because what I found with some markers is that you do a swatch, you leave it out for a little while, come back to it, and the colours have faded or they've changed to transparency. So you just be a little bit aware of that, especially if you leave your markers out near sunlight, or, well, certain markers just change colour over time. That's completely the wrong blue. Actually, no, it's not actually. It's a completely different blue to the cap, yes, but actually that will work. Right, I need greys. So I've got an IG1, IG2 here. Sometimes it's harder to draw people when they're wearing dull clothes. It's even harder when your marker's dry. What the? I've hardly used these. Come on. No. Come on. Jeez, I knew these. I knew when I bought these that there were going to be problems. I've hardly used them. They're dry. Anyway, enough whinging about the quality of these markers, which I knew was going to be poor when I got them. Yeah, don't trust shopping channels. I store them in the correct way. Yeah, it's coming to life slowly. So these marks are quite chunky. I'm going to put a little bit of grey into the shadows. See how the image is changing? So my initial scrappy sketch, starting to tidy it up. And then, what colour is that? It's like a dull pink. I don't trust. I hate not having a lid to trust. I'll try this one. I know it comes right around there. So yeah, so whenever I do these sketches and go out street sketching, I'll then come back, have a look through them and see if there's anything that I really like and I feel that I can use in another drawing. And that's where I'll suddenly do a neater version or stylized version and tidy it up, make it look much better. Now, one of my favourite colours out of these is ivory. And I know it's somewhere on this table because I only had it a few seconds ago. No, you're not running off over there. There we go. Right, ivory. Ivory is a nice tone for skin tones. Don't know if you can see. Come on, camera. That is really, really bleached out. Which is really dry. Might not have any in here. Come on. It's funny because the blue from my pencil is reacting with this. With the Copics, I don't have that problem. With the Copics, I don't have a lot of problems. It's a little bit yellow. I haven't done her footsies, have I? What was she wearing? Start this shoe for now. Right, need a really light colour to create a little bit of blush. With marker pens, it's so nice that you can layer up and just keep on layering. When doing figure drawings, I'm not overly keen on putting too many dark colours in there. I prefer to keep the colours really light. There's a colour there that isn't. Let's see. Green, white, green, white, green, white. Right, I need something. I don't want black, but I don't want. So I want to get a slightly dark colour on here, but I don't want it to be dark, dark. I'd like a pen to come out here for starters. That would help. So I'm going to use blues and greys. Blues, and that's nice grey. That blue pencil, I'm going to come in and just add a little bit more detail. I really want this blue pencil to stay quite light and not have too much emphasis in the drawing. I do need to define a couple of little bits. I'm going to bring a blue into the trousers. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get much. Actually, let's try and put the blue in the shadow. Oh my god, that's not blue. I know these are the right pens. This is embarrassing. Okay, Crafter's Companion, you're letting me down. I can pick up my Copics after 3 years of not using them and they work perfectly. These are not working perfectly. is not sky blue. That's green. That is green, and that's really confusing me. Either I'm going colourblind. Well, this is happily messing up a lot of things. That is green. Yeah, that's definitely green. That's jade green. Now, my markers have been stored out of sunlight and horizontal, like I always store my markers, and I didn't expect this rather maniacal problem. Okay, Ice Blue 2. It's way too strong. And that's not blue, that's green. Look, I know I've got problems with my eyes, but I know my colours. I wonder if this is split. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't actually the plan, but it looks like my Spectrum Noir markers have hang on. Come on. They've changed colour. Yeah, it can only happen to me, honestly. I don't think there's no colour. I think it's a split. So in a marker, you get the alcohol and the pigment, and I get the sneaky feeling that the alcohol has separated. The pigment's probably sat in the middle of these. Oh, that screws everything up nicely, doesn't it? You just can't get the quality. Well, you can. The only way to get quality is you get what you pay for, and I hate to say it, but I paid a hell of a lot for these. I am disappointed. Spectrum Noir. I'm glad I haven't even sold. I was going to sell this whole collection. Oh my god, can you imagine if I'd told them what people think I was doing? Oh dear, I'd have complaints. Oh dear. Ooh. The thought of those complaints makes me shudder. You sold us markers that don't work. You sold us markers that are a completely different colour. No, I didn't. They were fine when they left here. Yeah, the pose of this lady I've got is actually sat down, so I've pretty much changed her pose. These glaring massive, these glasses were huge. There wasn't really any gap between the nose. Just try and soften them out. Try and find a pen that works that will soften them out. So I'm just trying to add in a little bit of detail on the material. You know, you try. You really try. I'm really stuck because the colours are not what they should be. This has really stumped me. So let's see. So you should be able to see this colour here. That's meant to be that colour there. It's also meant to have this colour here. That's not that. Okay, these might end up having to go to a charity shop in all honesty. I can't use pens that change colour. Let's have some caramel. This has always been a faithful colour. Anything pinker so I can mark in this top at least. Come on, pens. That's a vast improvement. Anything that could fix this? I think the answer is no. Right, let's try and clean up the drawing a little bit. So you see what I was saying about the idea that the pen matches in with the pencil hasn't worked in this occasion due to the pen's not producing the correct colour. Meh. I'm going to have to live with it, aren't I? But I'm not going to let that completely destroy this. I say completely destroy, but I'm going to come jolly close. So I think I'm going to have to call this one quits. Didn't go to plan at all. But I'm hoping that's kind of given you an idea that no matter how scrappy and bad your outdoor sketch might seem when you do it, and no matter how little detail or how much you actually get down, even if you just note down a rough idea of the shape. Come on, camera. It should be enough to give you an idea of what you're going to aim for. So in this case, the lady was sat down. I'd filmed a little bit about her. I watched her, observed, so I knew roughly how her movements were. And so from a sat down sketch, I've turned her into a standing sketch. And that way, if I need a reference for clothing or an idea, I can come back to this, but I would do it in Copic markers instead of these crappy things. I'm annoyed that the markers have let me down. I really wanted to get this right. I honest to God, really wanted to get this right. I've been let down again by markers. But not my Copics. My Copics wouldn't have. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's just prove a point here. Right, blue, 32. It's gonna fight the... I don't want to ruin my Copics. It's more blue. In fact, we'll chuck a bit down here. That's blue. Yeah, I'm not going to ruin my Copics for this. I don't wonder. That's improved it a bit. That's made it a bit more life colour. What have I got? I know I've got one of these somewhere in here because I had it a little while earlier. On an off chance. These don't always work around markers. When using these Posca pens, which by the way I absolutely love, it's part of my main sketching kit. They sometimes go a bit funny with markers. Cheaper white pens will bleed, let the colour bleed through. And with the Poscas, I sometimes have to do like layers. So I'll put down a layer, come back, put down another layer. Yeah, I noticed I've just made a big mistake there. Let's tidy up that little mistake using the colour pencil. Hatching here, a little bit of hatching there. Here a hatch, there a hatch. And I think that'll do for tonight. But I hope that's helped inspire you to go out, have a go at doing drawing and sketching outside. Don't be scared to do it. Coffee shops are great places to practice because you can buy coffee for starters and tea if you don't like coffee. Juice even can be available. They're normally very friendly atmospheres. Just tuck yourself up in the corner. Don't make a big thing of getting your art kit out. Just be discreet if you're going to do that. If you're not sure if you can, ask to speak to the manager. Say, do you mind if I sit in here and do some sketching? And most of the time I suspect you will be told, yeah, it's absolutely fine, just don't cause a ruckus or don't make a scene. Just about respecting the other customers. Just common sense, really. I mean, I sketch where I work on my lunch times and nobody's kicked off or anything so far. My managers are fine with it as far as I know. Yeah, never had a problem yet. Oh, the other thing I love about these pencils, if you're really smart, you can smudge them. Because it's sat over the marker. Makes it a bit easier. Smudgy, smudgy, smudgy. Ta-da! So there we go. But yeah, I hope that's helped inspire you to get out there with a little sketch pad and a pencil and have a go at sketching life as it happens around you. So till next time, thanks for watching, all the best, and happy drawing to you all.